Hey everybody, how are we, okay? Just going to go through a little transition. It's been a couple of great panels just then. It's great to hear about the fashion and then again hear about the functionality. I think in the next session we're going to talk about the workplace and just work in general and how wearables can provide a layer of access, support, and other kind of services both to the employee and to the employer as well. As we know, it's a changing space when it comes to work, and there's some amazing trends that kind of driving change here. And I've asked three pioneers when it comes to, I think they're going to come join me. I've asked three pioneers when it comes to wearables to come and talk to me about and talk to us about their work and how it's contributing to a better workplace and a better work environment. I have, and I'm going to let you guys connect, and I think we're missing a third panelist will join us shortly, but I think we could start, yes? Are you all wired up and everything else?
Yes, we are. Check my chair.
And that chair's big enough for you, Kareem? Yeah.
A little closer.
A little, be happy. So I have Kareem and I have Vincent here. I'm gonna let's start the session by maybe you just introducing your products and just giving us a quick overview about what you're doing. Vincent, why don't you start? I think you have a couple of slides, AV.
All right, while they're queuing up the slides, Vincent Ramator, founder and CEO of UConnect. And what I have with me here is a wearable bracelet. And the objective of this product is first structured around identity. So first you identify yourself, and we use biometrics, fingerprint, and in future we're going to implement voice and a few other modalities. But the intention is that a product like this can be used for multiple levels of authentication, whether you're in the office, whether you want to make a payment, whether you want to do transit, whether you want to do any type of functional services that requires you to identify who you are. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through.
Your camera's working? Kareem,
Yeah.
what else do we work? Okay, here it goes. Let's have a look at the products. Vincent.
So basically, if you're looking at very quickly, so this is the product that's called U-Bolt. You have a crypto wallet or a digital wallet where you'll be able to store MasterCard, Visa, cryptocurrencies. You put your information in there. This is where you would identify yourself with your fingerprint. And we have some voice stuff coming. So there's a whole slew of activities that are going to be built into this product to give you some sort of like a typical roadmap for a person who would spend 15, 16 hours wearing this and being able to provide frictionless transactions on a daily basis.
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to asking more about that.
Yes.
Kareem, do you want to tell us a little bit, you have a very interesting product, and tell us a little bit more about your product.
Yes, good morning everybody. We are a French company and we are specialized in smart footwear technology. The idea behind it is to transform shoes to smart shoes. Phones became smartphones in just 10 years. Shoes will become smart shoes for many reasons. The idea is the shoe cannot be only a product just to cover your feet and give you a nice looking, but a product that can really improve your life. For example, you can improve your comfort. If you feel cold, you can just go on your smartphone, choose the temperature you want, and it starts to hit your feet. If you can imagine, for example, for sports, we are able to detect fatigue level of a player who is playing in live, and we will detect after 72 minutes, say, hey, this player is tired, we have to get him out before he gets injured. We are able to detect with the shoes so many things that can improve your life, can reduce fatigue, reduce injury risk. We are introducing now at the CES a product called S-Cube. It's for workers. So what can we do for workers? The idea is to detect why these category of workers have back pain, why the others have knee, ankle problems. So how we do that? We do that by the shoes will detect all the postures that the worker is doing during a day. And we will understand, because this worker is spending 32 minutes per day kneeling, So we can understand why he has this problem of knees or ankles and these kind of things. We are able to detect vibration, for example, which create a lot of traumatisms for the body and the brain. The shoe will detect vibration. The shoe can detect slip and fall if the ground is not stable enough. Slip and fall is the #1 cause of death in the industry. The injuries cost $1 billion per week just in the United States. And the shoes now, the smart shoes, are able to detect, to improve, to reduce fatigue, reduce injury risk, and make the working place more safe and the worker in a better shape, because these kind of shoes also can provide you a coaching program to improve to muscles, a certain group of muscles in your leg. If you spend long time per day on your tiptoes, so we can tell you, hey, you need to do this kind of exercises, for example.
That's great.
So this is a big picture for just smart
That's
footwear.
great. Can't wait to explore and talk more about the products.
Yeah.
And Raja should be joining us as well shortly. But let's talk a little bit about, let's just take a step back and look. Can you give us your impression of what the trends are on the floor? Okay, in terms of the wearable space, what have you seen out there? What's exciting you in terms of the floor and the sands and everything else?
So if you look around, I mean, on the wearable side, the concept of, how many of these products do I want to wear on a wrist, right? And so now the focus is, how do I make it smaller, or how do I make it more efficient, or how do I make it so I can truly wear it? Mm-hmm. And by that, if you look at just maybe taking a piece of this technology, putting on a patch, and I can wear it. Mm-hmm. One of the solutions that we're working on is, an offender right now, the low-end offender wears an ankle bracelet, yeah, and they get monitored. Well, the new device is going to be a wrist bracelet, mm-hmm, for being able to track that person, but still offer the same flexibility and scalability that it comes with.
Okay. And then Karim, in terms of kind of what you've seen at CES, I mean, what's exciting you beyond your core product?
What is interesting is, of course, the introduction of artificial intelligence right now, which is becoming more and more popular. We already started to think about how we can introduce, and we already introduced some part of this technology that other companies are introducing. I think this will be a game changer, because we'll be able to adapt really the algorithms to the people and have them personalized. Imagine if we are able to detect, which is the case today, the pronation supination. So we will be able to have shoes that are personalized. We cannot ask a worker to wear a shoe all the day, saying that it's a safety shoe that can protect him, but in the meantime, the shoe is not adapted to his posture. These create fatigue, these create injury risk. So the artificial intelligence will be able, and is able right now, to detect these kind of postures. And the second thing, mm-hmm, the second evolution of the technology is the 3D printers. 3D printers means what? Means we will be able to provide to the worker or to anybody in this audience an insert instantly. You can even do it at home, because you know what is your posture, and then your shoes will become personalized. So the problems of back pain, the problems of fatigue, we are absolutely convinced, and not me, but all the podiatrists and doctors all over the world are convinced that today we can all reduce 30 to 50% mm-hmm. our fatigue just by adding, for example, these personalized shoes and by these inserts. So artificial intelligence, 3D printers, accelerometers, all these together are combined to make things absolutely unbelievable.
And it's interesting, we see kind of that in other areas beyond wearables. For me, I noticed the AI within the camera and how that's kind of obviously evolving the kind of camera experience. And then 3D printing, whether it's in the car space or in other spaces, and how you can make customization, personalization. Any other kind of big trends that excite us within the wearable space that we've seen here today?
I was in a session on Tuesday, and one of the, everybody's talking about cryptocurrency. You know, how do I protect my Bitcoin?
Yeah.
So that's
It went quiet when you said that. It's
yeah.
pretty good,
So that seems to be an ongoing demand, and that seems to now start to move towards, you know, an
So we're
adoption.
going to see a blockchain conversation with wearables? Is that something?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's coming next. Yes.
That's really interesting. Yeah. What are the benefits to blockchain in a wearable?
So if you look at, for example, if you want to be able to identify yourself, so if you first provide some KYC and you store that KYC on the blockchain, right? So your profile becomes, you know, decentralized, so it's there at all times. It's a permanent record, and then from that you'll be able to use it to identify yourself to multiple services. I mean, one of the wearables' interest right now is digital passports.
Yeah.
76 countries in the world today offer digital passports. Paper copy, embedded. Well, why can't you not have a digital passport on a device like this or any other wearable form factor?
That's great. Really
That's moving.
interesting. Let's talk about talk now about the workplace. And you've already touched upon some of the benefits, but maybe we can kind of go back through kind of what are the benefits of wearables in the workplace? What are they, you know, by somebody wearing one of your products, what does the worker and what does the employer get out of that experience?
For the working place, you can imagine if you have a shoe that is able to detect fatigue, reduce injury risk, improve this means reduce cost. So for the worker, of course, it's important because we are talking about his health and his body. So the fact that we will tell him what kind of exercises he should do or what kind of postures he should reduce to reduce his risk of injuries and fatigue is important. For the factory, it's also very important because having workers in a good shape is very important. But what is interesting is every factory, and we had this, we were in Düsseldorf in a show called A+A just 3 months ago. It's the biggest safety show worldwide, and we were talking with different companies like Audi, Automotive and others, and said, with this technology, we will use your technology in our shoes, but the first thing we will do is we will go and negotiate our insurance with our insurance company, because if you reduce risk, you reduce injuries and improve the life of the workers, for sure you can deduct and you can reduce your insurance fee. And this is interesting because the insurance will pay for the shoes itself. So that means that we believe that in the next future, probably the wearables will be able to be much cheaper, because you can reduce the cost because the insurance can pay for that. There is a study that we wrote that was published just a month ago, saying that 40% of people worldwide will be able to reduce their insurance cost just wearing wearables, trackers. So we believe that this will happen, but there is another thing about data. The fact that this technology is gathering data interests a lot of people. I am totally convinced that in the next future, we will offer shoes for you guys. We say, hey, we give you the shoes for free, just let us use your data. Absolutely, yeah, because...
Okay, I'm going to come back to that. Tell me a little bit about the benefits for... Yeah.
So for a typical employer, I mean, if you're looking at, for example, access control, and access control meaning logical access control and physical access control. So physical access control, this can open a door, right, using NFC. Now, employer knows that because you're here, right? And you can be monitored within the building if you want to have things like GPS tracking, etc. Logical access control, you know, you're logging onto your laptop or you're providing access to a mobile application. So from the benefit of an employer, you know, you are protecting the identity of yourself because you're using a secure solution, and then the data, the corporate data, is under control because you're protecting how the access points are being, you know, secure, so that you can make sure that, you know, no one is coming in who they shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's great to see the different focus. I mean, are you in the hardware business, the service business, the data business? I mean, what business are you guys in?
Unfortunately, it is everything. I mean, when I say everything, I mean, Yes, you require a piece of hardware, and it has, its specific functions, but then you have to build an app, right? You have to build a mobile app or a desktop app.
Yeah.
And then from that, you got firmware, and then you need to have partners who are going to be able to deliver the services to make them work.
But as an entrepreneur, do you feel you have to do all of those things, or will you partner with Google to do the data side of things?
Right. The goal for us is that what we do is we are partnering with many platform operators. Mm-hmm. So we do not want to do know your client, KYC, and personalization. Mm-hmm. We let someone else do that. Yeah. Over-the-air provisioning, that's not our business.
Yeah.
We will let someone else do that. So by working strategically with partners, one of our partners, for example, is NXP, mm-hmm. and we work with them very closely, and they have a platform that will enable us to reach 1 million clients, all wearing one of these bracelets and being able to provision them.
I mean, what business are you in?
I think that right now, of course, we call it hardware, if we can consider that the shoes or insoles is hardware, but we absolutely strongly believe that our job in the next future will be software, data and software. Why? Because we are in healthcare, so we are gathering data, we are analyzing data, and the goal is to provide advices to detect what is wrong and what we can do to help. But when a worker or a person is wearing the shoes with our technology or a smart technology, our goal is to be able to provide him some advices to help him. For example, we did, and this will be a little bit special, but we had a very special demand from one big automotive company. And I was talking with the CEO, and he told me, are we able to detect when someone is drunk? I said, yes, we can. We can detect with the way you are walking. And in this case means we can block the car and make sure that that person will not drive his car when he's drunk. This is something that is absolutely technically possible. So the idea of gathering data is not just getting data for having data. The goal is to have data knowing how you are walking and how you are moving, what kind of things you are doing, to help you to exercise, to improve, to improve your performance, mm-hmm. to reduce risk of injuries. So this will be our job in the future, especially to advise and follow up and help people to use their shoes and optimize the use of this technology. Not, as I said in the beginning, it's not a product just cover your feet only, but a product that can improve your life.
That's great. Really interesting, really fascinating. I wonder if anybody's got a question in the audience. Feel free to shout out, I'll repeat it.
All right. A lot of companies are struggling with implementing any kind of sensors on employees because of HIPAA rules. Thank you. Because of HIPAA rules, or because the employees just don't really trust the company, Big Brother is watching, that sort of thing. So I was wondering if you have any advice about how to walk that delicate line and be able to work with the employees without necessarily crossing over into invasion of privacy.
It's a very good question. We had this discussion many times. First of all, just to talk quickly, our technology, we don't have GPS. We don't have GPS because we don't want to transform the shoe in a Big Brother and follow up what people are doing. The goal we have to explain, if you provide something that really will help you to reduce fatigue. I mean, when you talk to a worker and say, hey, we will be able to know why you have back pain, how you can reduce, how to not to work if the ground is not stable. We will be able to detect, for example, we detect cushioning level of your shoes to know if the the cushioning is still good or not, because otherwise you will hurt your knees. So if there is benefits, real benefits for the worker, he will, and then the data is a negotiation. Today we are using this technology in different brands, shoe brands, both the license from us, and the negotiation is there. I mean, the data is the property, the owner of the data is the user, nobody else.
So it seems to me that there's both a kind of hard hat policy, you know this is going to be good for you. And then the second thing is about providing the data, feeding back the data to the worker.
Agree. You have to agree what kind of data you can
But we
share
also have some
with your
transparency,
factory.
in sharing that data with the worker.
Yeah. I think there is some data that everybody can have, but there are other data that the workers can not show, and this is absolutely possible. So the technology must offer this option to select the data.
So on a wearable side, to provide an employee with frictionless transactions, right? So when you come in the morning, you don't have to be fishing for your smart card or a card to open a door. It's already there. So if you can say to the employee, hey, listen, we want to work with you, right? We want to give you a little bit of an access, but we also want to make sure that the technology is flexible enough and you're not collecting any information. You're just basically utilizing the data. So therefore, I think they'll give the buy-in. They'll give the buy-in because you are making their life a whole lot easier when they're transitioning from out of the office into the office.
Raja, it wasn't easy to find where to go. No?
I could spend the next half an hour explaining to everyone my morning, but I promise I won't bore you. I'm sorry I'm late.
Please don't.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about your product? We were just talking about privacy and what also getting employees to actually use this product as well. So maybe you can touch upon that.
Absolutely. So my name is Raja Abdulaziz. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Invisiware. We create smart jewelry and accessories. You can see one of our pieces right here. And it's got a hidden chip behind it. When it's double pressed, it instantly allows you to alert friends, family, and police of your exact location. So it stems from the idea of what would you do if you or someone you love was in an emergency situation. Obviously, you'd want to call 911 or somebody close by, but realistically, you can't really look at the attacker and ask them to pause until you grab your phone, unlock it, dial 911, and tell the dispatcher where you are. But sadly, even if you could, if you don't have enough time to speak or simply don't know where you are, police have no way of finding your location. We live in a world where if you lose your iPhone, it takes seconds to find it, but if you're in a life-threatening emergency, police may or may not be able to find your location. Over 10,000 people die because of these very reasons, and our company is committed to changing that. We've built a partnership with a great company called Rapid SOS that has a link to 911 dispatchers all across the country. So when you use our system and you double press it, your name and your location go exactly to the 911 dispatcher screen.
Tell us a little bit about how that kind of intersects with the workplace.
Sure. So originally when we had started, our main focus had been college-aged women who are leaving classes late at night, especially because statistics for that age group are very high. I'm sure as you've seen every single day, there's a new story of an assault or harassment that resurfaces. But for the college market especially, they're the highest. It's 1 in 4 college women are being sexually assaulted every single year. So we had originally began by focusing on that market because we wanted to make an impact. But as we continued to grow and give pitches in our community, what we found is that it's very relevant not only for college-age students, but for many different people, especially working individuals. So real estate agents who are showing property on their own told us that they feel really uncomfortable just meeting a random stranger that they know very little to nothing about. We've also had nurses, doctors tell us that they work really late at night and that they're showing property on their own. We've even had HR reps tell us that they'd want to buy this because they'd want to keep track of different instances that are going on in the workplace.
Okay, so there's that sort of during and after work sort of use as well. And it's really interesting to me how your products in some ways could be considered similar, but actually you have very different purposes as well. Do you have any other question in the audience? At the back, sir, with the...
Thanks a lot for providing different perspectives on the wearables. What I see for each of the different situations is that you have a very specific use case. In the soles, you have security, you have the watch. As a company, it's very difficult for us to actually have an integrated view of a bigger problem that we have. I have 2,500 drivers that are carrying very heavy water. So I would want to use the soles, I would want to use security issues, I would want to be able to have access to buildings. but how do I, as a company, work with an ecosystem of companies instead of having to figure out which are the different players in that different environment? So how are you working as a vendor, as a supplier, to actually build that ecosystem to make it easier for companies to buy integrated services?
In fact, the answer will come probably from the factories. Now many wearables exist. For example, in working place, you have helmets, you have shoes. Yeah, now probably some equipments, more equipments. And we had already this question from a German company that have this helmet and our shoes, and they ask us to work together, to combine and to have the one same platform. So the problem is we don't know what the factory have already. So the only thing we do is the factory will come to us, say, hey, we want your technology, and we have or we have not. If they have, we have to combine, and they will ask for that because they don't need to have 3 apps per worker. They need 1 app, and we have to combine to make sure that we will have the same platform. So this will come, but in the future it will be probably easier. But right now it's the beginning of something, so we have to work case per case.
That's great. Raj, it sounds like you're fairly early in terms of working with companies, but have you thought about how you're selling the products into a kind of an enterprise?
Sure, absolutely. So originally we're planning to start B2C. So we're about to launch an Indiegogo campaign within the next couple of weeks. For anyone who's interested, please feel free to sign up on our website. It's www.invisawear.com. But when the campaign goes live, we'll be offering products at a discount. But our long-term goal is to partner with big jewelry companies and provide them our technology so they can incorporate it into the jewelry styles that people already like to wear. But not only that, in partnerships with universities, real estate agencies, just different companies all in general, and we can even create branded products for them.
Okay.
So keychains with their logo on it that have the chip hidden behind it and so on.
That's great. And Vincent, maybe you can talk about the kind of vendor relationship and the selling in.
Yeah, basically for us, our focus is primarily business to business. We tried the B2C market and it failed. Consumers are not interested in security or putting on a wearable to protect their identity. You know what? They log on to the Wi-Fi at Starbucks. Mm-hmm. So go figure, right? So I think for us, what is really keen is being able to find, and so to respond directly to that question, what we have is the ability to work with multiple IoTs in the Internet of Things, the ecosystem. But today, as Karim said, there is no one all-inclusive ecosystem. And so it's an evolving process. And yes, each sensor has its own functionality. So we're working towards that. But I think that's coming.
That's great. So we're going to run out of time. So one last question for each of you. So we come back in 2 years' time, 2020, CES. What are we going to see in terms of wearables? How are your products going to evolve?
I could see, for example, someone wearing a patch.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And you walk around.
Yeah.
And you don't even know that you have a wearable on because it is wearable.
That's great.
And it'll give you all the functionality that you need. And maybe to the gentleman in the back there who asked that question, maybe we will include sensors from multiple sources and being able to combine them on one SoC, one system on a chip, to really provide that type of functionality.
Raja, one thing you're going to see in 2020?
Sure. I think there will be a lot of advancements in artificial intelligence. And for our product especially, we're hoping to be able to predict when an emergency situation is and help you get out of it beforehand. Mm-hmm. But separately from wearables, my prediction for 2020, I think self-driving cars are going to have a big year.
Oh, yeah? And Karim, one final comment about what we're going to see in 2020.
I think things are moving very fast, so I'm sure that in the next just few years, maybe 20, we will be able to have products, and probably our shoes, to detect disease. We will be able to detect Parkinson, Alzheimer, a different kind of disease, just the way you are moving, you are walking. So it could be for the worker, but it could be for everybody else here. So we are absolutely convinced that this will be a big change. And for footwear, it's a revolution. I mean, the smart footwear will bring a lot in the next few years.
Well, that's great. Thank you. And let's show a sign of appreciation to Kareem, Raja, and Vincent. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.